Hey everybody, it's Spy Wednesday of Holy Week or Holy Wednesday, and this comes out of Matthew 26:14 through 16. It says, Then one of the 12, named Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, What are you willing to give me to deliver him up to you? And they weighed out to him 30 pieces of silver. And from then on, he began looking for a good opportunity to betray him. Now, it's an interesting story to me. I've always thought of the story of Judas and what happens when he betrays Jesus as one of the most interesting stories in the Bible to me. First of all, I like to think that to betray Jesus, Judas would have needed more than a little bit of money. But the truth of the matter is, 30 pieces of silver actually only totaled up to, in today's amount of money, about $400. Anywhere from $370 to $450 is what they say. Think about that. He betrayed Jesus for $400. Now, when you think about $400, it's not that it's a little bit of money, but in the scheme of overall things, what would you get with $400 in today's market? Well, you might get a new Xbox, you might get 2 tires, you could get a month's worth of coffee at Starbucks. But in the end, it's just not that much money. And we think Judas was such a bad guy. And I know that I have always felt that Judas was such a bad guy because he betrayed Jesus for just 30 pieces of silver. But when I think about us, I think about how often, me personally, I choose other things over Jesus. Am I really betraying Jesus? Well, maybe not, but I think often I will make decisions that might go against what I really should do in light of what works out for me today. And sometimes maybe finances get in the way of how I follow Jesus, or how I'm maybe who needs to give. I don't know. I just think about the fact that for $400, Judas was betrayed, and how often we betray Jesus with our sinful lives. And then I realize the part of the story that's the most important part. And that's this: that regardless of what we do, and regardless of what Judas did, Jesus is always willing to forgive us. When we think about Spy Wednesday, or think about Holy Wednesday, and we think about the rest of the week, we realize that the whole point of the week is that Jesus eventually dies on the cross and he suffers a great death for the sins of the world. And then 3 days later, he raises up again to prove that he conquered death. And so no matter where you are or what you've done, Jesus offers forgiveness. What was it that caused you to betray Jesus? What was it that caused you to sin that went against Jesus? I'm not saying you're Judas. I'm just saying we all have tendencies. And thank goodness that at Easter week, we get to understand more fully just how important it is that Jesus forgives. Have a great Easter. We'll see you on Sunday.